Hi, guys, and welcome to the World Speaker Program's first official event. And we have four incredible speakers who are going to be talking about tonight self discovery. So, what we're going to do right now, guys, I want you to write down one thing that you want to get from tonight's event. Why have you tuned in? What would you love to learn so that our speakers can get a grasp of what you want? So, in the chat box, write down what do you want from tonight's event? Why have you tuned in tonight's event? So, I'm just going to go to the chat box. I'm just going to make sure everyone can hear me as well. If you can hear me, guys, put your hands up. There's a hand button on the screen. Put your hands up if you can hear me. So, Demetrio, I hope I said your name right, can hear me. Denise can hear me. Cheryl can hear me. Hey, Cheryl. Jacob. We've got a lot of amazing people in the house. This is incredible. So, guys, this is our first official online event. We've got people tuning in from all over the world. We've got four incredible speakers. We've got an amazing presenter. You might know her. Her name is Kane. I've muted her mic because she likes to speak a lot. I know that she's cussing me right now. No, Kane Day is absolutely incredible, guys. So I'm going to introduce you to Kane Day very shortly. And just going to wait for a few more people to sign in and we're going to start. We're going to start our first official online event. So just to give you an idea, the World Speaker Program attracts speakers from all over the globe. So we have people that are from America, that are from Australasia. We have people from Africa. We have people from Europe doing the program. And so far, we're on week one and we've had incredible collaborations. And this is the first online event collaboration where we have four incredible speakers. And if you haven't already, get yourself a pen and paper and write down the wisdom that you learned tonight, the notes, everything you learn, write it down. It has more of an impact. It stays in your subconscious when you write it down. So taking notes is vital. So I'm just looking at the chat box to see what everyone's saying. So guys, can you go to the chat box? What do you want to learn from tonight? What do you want to learn from tonight? Okay, guys, bear with me. I was looking in the wrong box. I was thinking, people are slow at typing. Okay, so Kirsty wants to be inspired. She wants to learn about how I can get over my limiting beliefs. So speakers, listen to that. How do I get over my limiting beliefs? She wants to be inspired. Kirsty wants to be inspired. Malak, I know I have my way of discovering myself and who I am, but what are some of the speakers' way of how they first discovered who they were? Great question. So the speakers that are speaking, take this on board so that you can use this in your talk. Addie said, I have tuned in as I know I'll get at least one thing from each of these amazing speakers. Beautiful. Denise, on your journey of self-discovery and change, how do you deal with those individuals in your immediate circle who do not seem to want to accept the new you, but want to hold on to the old version of you? Such a great question, Denise. Perfect. And Max just asked, where can people click to join the webinar from my following, so people who are not in this program? So there's a link in the group, and if you click that link and just copy and paste that link and send it to the people that you're following, then they'll be able to tune in as well. So guys, I am going to pass you over to the one and only Cane Day! Woo!
Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing? As Warren said, I am the host this evening for this amazing online event, the first of its kind with the World Speaker Program, Self-Discovery. So my name is Cane Day. I'm a speaker and a transformational coach. So let me just ask, what thoughts does it conjure up when you think about self-discovery? Is it something that we all experience? Does self-discovery happen at a certain point of our lives? Those are questions I have in my head. We have 4 incredible speakers, as Warren mentioned earlier, who will be sharing their powerful stories and letting us in on the tools and strategies that help them to maneuver their way through their life's journey thus far. So who's excited? I want to see some hands. Who's excited? I'm not sure if I can see any hands. Okay, well, I'm just assuming you got your hands up. That's fine. So let's get this evening going, and I'll introduce you to our first speaker. So our first speaker grew up in a small country in the eastern part of Europe called Lithuania. It has a population of around 3 million, but growing up in Lithuania was pretty much normal for our speaker until her father left their family home when she was only like 7 years old. So not surprisingly, this had a huge impact on Simona Bubalita when she was growing up. Simona has a vision to inspire and empower women all across the world to improve their relationships by sharing techniques in doing so, and sees the importance of having a strong relationship with oneself as the starting point. So without further ado, let's raise our hands for Simona Bubalita. Woo! Come on, Simona, where are you?
Woohoo, everyone! Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me?
I can hear you.
I hope guys you can hear me. Woohoo!
How are you feeling?
I feel amazing, and I'm so grateful, guys, that you joined in for our online event, which is the first one. And I'm really happy to share my experience with you. I hope that you'll have a lot to take away. Yeah, and thank you so much for Kende for introducing me. It's lovely to hear about yourself from someone else. So I'm joining into the online event from my phone. So I'm afraid, I don't know, I think I didn't go properly on the settings. So I am not able to see you guys, everyone. So I'll just try to kind of communicate, and I hope that you get the message, and then yeah, you can ask the questions later. So I guess I'll start from a little bit more detail from my upbringing. So the fact is that I've been always a Y child, WHY. So since my little days when I was little, I was always asking my mom, why is that? Why is like this? Why is this lady like that? Why did she say that? Why did it happen like this? And I was really passionate to know everything about everything. So it's only normal that I was wondering through my years when I started reading and I started kind of socializing. So I was always that sort of a child that is a bit weird, as people would call, because you're not really like everyone else. You're always wondering, you're asking questions. And yeah, since my early days, I was asking mom, so why did that go? What's happened? And somehow I assumed in my childhood that was somehow my fault. And so I kind of dragged it to that reason without knowing, and the things that you decide in your childhood, it stays with you. And when you grow up, it becomes subconscious. So you're not aware of these things anymore, but they still affect the way you think, the way you act, and it really affects the, you know, the way you perceive things in life. So without me knowing, it put like a really big burden on relationships, and I was always struggling. And of course, it's not a surprise that it was a really important thing in my life. And since my dad left when I was young, I was always seeking, knowing or not knowing, for that other significant half my entire life. Maybe it's a personality, maybe, you know, it's just like a thing, you know, starting in the teenage years, you always want that someone, you know, to love you. And since I didn't receive the, you know, that love in my childhood, I was always seeking for it. And funny thing is that because of that, I was always struggling with trust, with you know, with the maintaining the relationship. And I think at a certain point, I started wondering, there's a pattern in all my relationships. What can it be? It can't be that everyone, you know, all the guys are like that and that's their problem. And I started reading, I started looking for answers, and I was always really curious, and it made me wonder. So I started going deeper and deeper into this sort of, not really psychology, but analyzing characters, analyzing, you know, from my childhood, it started with the colors, and it went into, you know, personality types and things like that. And I got really excited when I discovered that it's connected with you, because you, it's something that you can change, you know. You can't control others, you can't control life, but you can control the way you are and the way you behave. So that's what made me really look into personal development. And since I started, I can swear to you guys, my life improved drastically when I realized that it's all up to me. And so you can do that too. So if you kind of resonate with what I'm talking about, not obviously everyone else may have such, you know, relationship issues or trust issues, or had, or maybe, you know, just discovering having, but I'm sure everyone can resonate with that a little bit, with that story, that, you know, once you discover that that's where your problem lies, start digging deeper and deeper to discover how to, you know, get it to the surface, to let it heal, and so then you can move on. So I would say that for me, the key reason was to realize that it all depends from your attitude towards everything. It all depends from your thoughts, and all depends what you do about everything, what happens to you in life. So you can't be blaming other people, you can't be blaming circumstances, and it's all how you behave. So I started paying attention to law of attraction and the things that are happening around me. So I would say, you know, whoever is into law of attraction, really pay attention how the things are happening around you, what signs you are getting, and that's how I got into the whole law of attraction thing, and I started following the signs like synchronicity. A lot of people believe in like angel numbers, and I do. And for example, if you pay attention to the time, I get a lot of times through the day, you know, 22, 44, 33, and they carry a certain message. So it all depends, you know, how deep into like this spiritual life you go into. And so another thing what I would say, always pay attention to the way you feel and what you think, because you can always catch when you start drifting off your positive attitude. So when I started noticing that when I feel good and I feel positive, I get good things happening to me. And as soon as I would get bad days, I would start thinking, you know, I was feeling good in the morning. How come it all started going down the hill. And I would realize that, you know, I had like a sort of confrontational situation, and then I started thinking negatively, you know, and I kept, you know, kind of drowning in that emotion. I started overthinking, and I can tell by my experience that overthinking is the worst that you can do to yourself. By thinking and thinking over the same problems, the same situation, analyzing, and I did a lot of that. So if you tend to do that, I can tell you right away, drop it. Once it happened, you learn the lesson, you had to look at the situation, you think of what you could have done better, and leave it, move on. Always look at the positive side of the situation too. Try not to, you know, gossip or like think badly about the other person, and that really helps me with positive thoughts daily is the affirmations. And I remember, you know, Garen Jones yesterday, he mentioned that as well. And so when I hear people like him, you know, really doing these things that I'm doing, like morning affirmations, writing down goals in the evening and looking through them, really going, you know, through emotion of how you feel, how it makes you feel having and going through these things. And you know, you start thinking, wow, but you know, the life is really simple. It's very simple. There are few things that have to be done because it's all energy, it's all vibration, it's all synchronicity. If you're in sync with yourself, with your thoughts, with your feelings, everything will happen, and there's no big secret. And as everyone, you know, whoever read the book, really, The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, since I downloaded that book in my Audible, my life changed drastically. And I would really recommend to everyone, listen to that book, because even though you listen to it 6, 7, 8 times, you'd be surprised how sometimes you catch yourself thinking, was that there? Because I don't remember listening to it. And yeah, so the life is really simple. As long as you control your thoughts, control your mind, which is your ego, and it always goes into, you know, survival mode. Once you stop that negative chatter in your head, and if you try to avoid negative, you know, people in your life, you can't really, you know, avoid them completely, but try to find your own way how not to get involved in all that stuff that is happening around. Like, for example, people know me for refusing talking about America's new president. I just don't go into that. I don't make fun of that guy. I don't really discuss it. I just do not care. And so just choose these things like that. Or like, do not ever get involved in gossips, because you are like a magnet. You attract what you give out. And you'll notice, do like a little test. If you don't believe me, or if you believe me just a little bit, do a little test. Try to go one day while thinking, you know, negative, always positive. If you start thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be late, I am going to be on time. Oh my God, I cannot believe. So I didn't do these things on time, but I'll be there on time. And you know what? Maybe I had to run a stop or two. Maybe I had to close the door quickly and then not to do something that I normally do. But I did happen to be on time. So make sure you're not setting your mind on negative things, and you won't attract negative things. And if you keep doing this day in, day out, you'll get into a new pattern. Because the most difficult thing is to change the pattern. And I promise you, it won't be that easy, but it will be worth it. And I remember Garen Jones again saying that in our questions and answers event, which was organized again by Warren, that the most difficult thing is to change the pattern, because while you're doing that, you'll get a lot of negativity. A lot of your close ones will be, oh, why are you doing that? This is absolutely nonsense. What's happening to you? It will be difficult, okay? It won't be easy, but nothing in life that's worth having it's coming easy. And it's better to be different and to live life on your own terms than to be like everyone else. And when you die, no one will remember you because you'll be like everyone else. So that's why, you know, I realized that. I remember Les Brown saying, and it really gave me shivers when I was exercising once and I was listening to this motivational speaking, and he said, live life full and die empty, because there's nothing worse than laying in your deathbed realizing that you could have done that and you could have done this. And I really go by these things every day. I try to go. And whenever I face a problem, I say to myself, okay, is this that kind of problem will take me down? Is this that kind of person I am? And I never pay back people, even if I know that they did wrong, and I know this for sure. I try to love them regardless, because that's the only thing that I want to receive back. And don't forget to love yourself as well. That's a different topic for a, you know, different time, because I think I'll be going over time. But it's really important, because as I heard before in the event, you know, you can't give what you don't have. If you don't love yourself and if you don't look after yourself, how are you going to be able to, you know, to love someone else? You can't give what you don't have. So that's another important thing to me, and I always go by that. And just to finish it off, because I'm not entirely sure, but I am looking at the time and it looks like it, that I'm giving it to the next speaker, that you always have to keep moving forward.
We're not speaking yet. We want to we want to sort of continue from where because you've given so much value. In fact, you know, I'm making notes because a lot of things that you were saying resonated with me. It's like, for example, when you said, why child? I was one of those children. But, like, my mum's response to me was, why has a very long tail? And for ages, I was like, oh, what does she mean by that? If you think about it, it's got two sort of pronged response there. So why, when you keep asking, why this, why that, it keeps on going. So it's a very long tail. But then if you look at the letter, the third letter of that word, it's a Y, and it has a tail. So she used to say that to just cut me flat, so I would stop asking those questions. Why this? Why that? It's just like, oh, because Y has a very long tail. That used to stumble me. And similarly, I you know, grew up without a father, so like relationships were sort of difficult in terms of not having a backstop, so to speak. So you're as a girl, as a young girl, your father is supposed to be like the first relationship that you understand from like a man, if that makes any sense. And when you don't have any reference point, you're sort of like, you're guessing, aren't you, in terms of how men are supposed to behave. So yeah, so you know, I found myself sort of just in situations that I didn't need to be in, and it wasn't until I've discovered personal development I started to understand me a bit more, and also, you know, love and appreciate me more. So I think, you know, what you were saying in terms of starting with yourself is the first point and the most important point, because you can't give to anyone else until you've given to yourself. So it's about filling your cup up, and then you're able to serve other people. Yeah. And to touch up on the point about laws of attraction, you know, laws of attraction, absolutely, I believe it works, but you also have to apply action to that, because the word action is in attraction, and if you don't apply action, then you're literally just sitting there twiddling your thumbs until whatever you desire to come your way. You'll be waiting a very long time. Oh, I want a helicopter.
Sure, of course, you know, but sometimes people really don't believe in themselves, and that's the self-sabotage from the very beginning. So Absolutely. They maybe put work, but they don't believe, you know. Yeah. They say, yeah,
believe in themselves, but they don't understand they believe in themselves. Yeah, you're right, because what you think about, you bring about. So if you say, "Oh, I never win competitions," and then you don't win a competition, guess what? You are absolutely right, because you didn't win. You put that energy into not winning, so you didn't win. So you shouldn't be disappointed. You should be going, "Oh wow, it does work. Now I just have to apply it more in a positive sense. I am a powerful speaker." Yes, you are. Your mind doesn't know what is right or wrong. So if you say you're shy, then you're shy. If you say you're I don't know, empowerment coach, you're an empowerment coach. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's fantastic. Brilliant. So who else got so much value from what Simona shared? Hands
Right.
up.
I'm going to join in too, guys, because I can see the hands that are up. So I can see a lot of hands that are up. So you might want to put
Thank
your
you so
hands
much, Simona, for that.
and then
Thank
put
you,
your
guys.
hands back up again.
Thank
So, Simona, don't go anywhere just yet because we want to get some feedback
Of
from
course.
our attendees. So put your hands up, guys, if you've got any feedback. What feedback? What did you get? What value did you get from Simona's talk just then? Put your hands up if you would like to share it with everybody. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. I'm
Put your
brave
hands
attendees.
Simona, while we're waiting, right? Simona, while we're waiting, I was going to say, when you were talking about the angel numbers, this morning, I saw 555.
Oh, that's really good. That's a number of transformation.
Yeah, that means I'm going through an amazing change, and it's like the triple numbers means it's emphasized. And
Okay,
it's
so guys, we've got a hand up from Asia.
oh, hey, Asia.
Okay, so you guys are so funny. We've got to keep this professional. Okay.
We love each other.
No, we love everyone.
Asia, if you unmute your mic, you can then start to speak. So if you click on the mic button, it will go green and you can share some feedback. I'll give you 5 seconds to figure it out. If not, we have to go to the next person.
Oh, you're costing it, General.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Maybe she can type it and you can read it.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the next person. Guys, feedback, put your hands up if you've got any feedback to share with Simona. What did you get from that talk? What stood out for you? Okay, we're gonna go to Kirsty. Kirsty has her hand up. Hi, Kirsty.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi,
Tell
how
us,
are you?
I'm good, thank you. Tell us the value that you got from Simona's talk just then, because she was giving so many golden nuggets away. What value did you get?
Absolutely. You know, what she was saying about your thoughts, and you know, if you find yourself, you catch yourself in a negative thought pattern, having that awareness to quickly turn it around so it doesn't spiral out of control. So just having that discipline of turning it around. And I totally agree with her, you know, about the law of attraction. I mean, oh my goodness, you know, once I read that book, it all kind of made sense because I'd heard about the story of, you know, like attracts like, you know, but finding out that it's all from an energy point of view, you know, really has sort of just realize why things have happened, and just be more aware of what's happened in the past and why it's happened, and now how you actually choose outcomes and choose your future because of what you're putting out there. So yeah, I totally agree, Simona, on the law of attraction and how that really dramatically can change your life if you are aware and you've got the discipline.
Definitely, yes, I agree.
Awesome.
Experience.
So we're going to just mute you back up, Kirsty. Thank you so much for sharing that amazing feedback. Simona, I know this is one of your first public talks.
Yes.
How did you find it?
It was crazy. I loved it. I've learned so many things now already, and I'm gonna write down the tips for myself because I love that, and I think that you should never trust your memory. You should always, always write. Actually, I saw even the picture on the speakers Facebook page. They even you know, Garen Jones was writing down, which it looks like, you know, he shouldn't really be writing down because, you know, he's teaching us. So, and Jim Rohn would write down, and I've seen so many successful people that, you know, it seems like they know these things already, but the thing is they are writing down not because they don't know, it's because they memorize it like that. And yeah, so that's what I do. And what I'm taking away from this is that you grow by practicing, and it doesn't matter how many times you're gonna chicken out and try to sabotage yourself by thinking, oh, you know, but I'm not prepared enough. No, I think I should do more of this and then I can speak. Or yeah, you know, you just need to speak. I love to talk, but I never did a single video live until you challenged me. I was actually going to a cinema when I saw your post, you know, that I have to be there at 8 or 9 o'clock and post, you know, 8 o'clock, between 8 and 9 to post our video. And I was like, oh my God, I have to. And yeah, so you just keep challenging yourself. And so I turned around and I came back home all fired up. I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. People gotta think I'm crazy. Well, actually, because I am crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely smashed it. So congratulations, by the way, on your first time. And obviously, just because of time, we want to move on smoothly as well. I know you and I know Kane Day can speak for Lithuania, and Nigeria, England.
I recognize that is why I'm the host. Thank you very much.
Simona, thank you so much for taking this time out of your busy schedule, for sharing value, speaking. We've got a lot of people watching tonight as well, so a lot of people have got value. Thank you so much. And it's been
a pleasure, Simona. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing. So, Kane Day.
Okay, so over to me.
It's over to you.
Brilliant. Okay, so all right, so Moval Dash, our next speaker, spent most of her adult life as a carer. She was a carer for her mother, her late sister and aunt. Moval is now on her own journey of self-discovery. She has a mission to help and support people to achieve their forgotten goals and dreams. As a trained coach, Moval helps individuals to discover the beauty of nurturing themselves as well as others. Moval specializes in personal development, and in the last 3 years, she has led an award-winning program that saw all of its second-year participants achieve their goals, receiving promotions and successfully transitioning into self-development. So let me introduce you to Moval Dash. Are you there, Moval?
Hi, everybody. I'm not sure if you can see me. I know you can hear me because I've just seen the unmuted side, but I'm not sure if you can see me.
No.
And I want to see if you can see me because I can't see any hands, but it's cool. So I'm going to speak to you all about self-discovery as it relates to knowing yourself and looking after yourself. So first I'm going to tell you a bit about me, then I'm going to tell you a bit about why I think self-discovery is important, and then I'm going to say what next for me and maybe for you guys as well. So I hope that sounds good to everybody, and Warren can let me know if they're all thumbs up. So I hope there are all thumbs up. But I'm going to kick off by saying that I'm going to speak to you from a female's perspective because obviously I'm a female. If you can't tell that, then you know I'm a female, trust me. I'm not sure if there are any women on the call, but if there are, this will relate to you as well, because everything I'm going to say about looking after yourself relates to human beings, whether they're men, women, children. So we all have to kind of look after ourselves. Men tend to kind of come from a different perspective, so they will be the providers. A lot of times that means they overwork. They spend all the time out of the house looking after the jobs, and they can bring home the bacon. But it means that they don't get time to look after themselves and figure out what makes them tick. I know that because I saw my own dad live that way. He worked all of his life to look after us and provide us with everything we needed, but I don't think I ever saw him spend any time doing something for himself, by himself. And by the time he was able to do that, which was retirement age, unfortunately, he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and so he never really got to enjoy his retirement or look after himself. We as women tend to be carers for everybody. That's mothers, aunties, uncles, sisters, brothers, children. And that kind of brings me to who I am. And I am an individual, but I've spent most of my life being a carer in one capacity or another for my sisters, my child, my nephews, my dad, my mum, my friends. And that's okay, because actually I like being a carer. I like looking after people. That's part of who I am. But in the last couple of years, things have happened to make me ask, is that all I am? And I'll kind of get back to what made me ask that a little bit later on. But I kind of, in thinking about doing this talk, I kind of thought about when it was that I stopped thinking about myself. And I realized that I probably never really did think about who I am as a person. I can remember back being a child, being this tall, skinny, geeky child. And so I spent my entire life at school trying to fit in. So from that perspective, I never really thought about who I was and what I wanted for myself. Fast forward a few years, and I was still doing the same thing. Even at school, I'd be looking after other people. And I distinctly remember my mum and my sister, and my sister should be on listening to this, and if she's not, I'm going to kill her. But yeah, I distinctly remember them both saying to me, you always take on everybody else, and you need to look after yourself. And that kind of didn't change as I grew up. I continued as an adult to care for people, and unfortunately, you know, later on in life, my sister was diagnosed with MS, and so my mum and I became part-time carers for her. And I also helped to raise her sons, my nephews. And I had my own child, and I continued to look after her and you know, raise her also. So I just continued to be caring for other people. And then about a year and a half ago, my sister passed away, unfortunately. And I, after organising a funeral with my sister and my mum, I kind of spent 3 months or thereabouts just sitting on my couch, day in, day out, doing a lot of nothing, apart from watching daytime TV. So you know I was in a really bad way, because that daytime TV is boring as hell. So if I could sit and watch that every day for 3 months, then something must have been wrong with me. I pulled myself out of that simply because my daughter was starting to worry about me. She'd come home every day and say, "Have you got off the couch yet, Mum?" So I kind of pulled myself out of it and went back to work, and things seemingly went back to normal. But I realized that I was normal but numb. And the only thing that made me realize that was a few months after going back to work, two incidents happened, which I should have reacted to, and I really didn't have any reaction to. The first was, on my way to a meeting, I saw someone commit suicide. They jumped in front of a train, and I virtually had no response to that. I didn't have any response to that at all, to be honest. And a few friends kept asking me, am I okay, am I okay? And I kept wondering, why are they asking me, am I okay? I shouldn't be not okay. And then a few weeks after that, I got a phone call to say that my daughter, had been knocked over. Fortunately, it was only by a push bike, and she didn't suffer any kind of physical damage, which had to be taken to hospital. But my response to that, again, was very unlike me. It was very numb-like. And it was only my sister had a conversation with me after that, a couple of weeks after that, and said, you know, you're not right. This is not how you normally act. And I kind of figured that actually it's time I do something about this. And so I registered for some counselling, and I did that. But I also decided that I wanted to kind of do some stuff to help me develop myself. So I started reading some self-development books. I did a couple of courses. And between the counselling and the self-development stuff, I came to the realization that I had lost sight of who I am beyond being a carer. And I started to ask myself, what is it that I want? What is it that I like? What is it I need to do? And I didn't have any answers, which kind of really saddened me. So that kind of brings me on to my second point, which is, why is self-discovery so important? Well, for me, and I guess for a lot of people listening, it's really important because as we all know, we can't care for others if we can't care for ourselves. That's nothing new. And I realize that there's nothing new in that. But it's something that resonates with me. And I spent so much time looking after everybody else to the point of almost burning out that I didn't think about myself in all of that. And then I had a conversation just today, actually, with my sister. And I realized that I have a huge ego, which was a bit of a shock to me. And I say that because I mean that in caring for people, my tendency is to try and fix things, try and fix them, try and fix their problems, and almost try and be all things to all people. And I recognize that if that's who I am and that's what I'm trying to do, I must have a huge ego. I must be out to here, because no one person can be all things to all people. No one person can fix everything. So for me to try and take that on, I must have a huge ego. And I didn't think it was about ego. I thought that was about love. And somewhere along the line, I think I've confused the two, because if you want to fix things for everybody and be all things to all people, that isn't ego, that's love. Sorry, that's not love, that's ego. I'm not saying that you shouldn't want to care for people and you shouldn't want to look after them, because you should. And anything I do for people is not out of obligation, it's out of choice. But what I am saying is you can't want to and try to fix things and fix people, because that's not going to help anyone. And actually, when you do that, you're being really selfish, because you're robbing people of their lessons and their opportunity to learn, because everything you go through teaches you something. I've had some very hard lessons, but I'm grateful for all of mine, because they've taught me things and they've led me to be here today and who I am today. So if you really care for somebody, then the best way to show that is by allowing them to make their mistakes and allowing them to learn, and then allowing yourself to care for yourself before you care for them. Because when you start to do that, then you'll discover what I like to call your 3 C's. You'll discover who you are, as you are, and for yourself. And you know, your 3 C's, I'll tell you what your 3 C's are. Your 3 C's are, the first one is capabilities. When you start to look after yourself and go on a journey of self-discovery, you'll discover your capabilities. And by that, I mean what your skills and strengths are. And then you can see how to use those skills and strengths to not only look after you, but to care for others. Your second C is your capacity. Once you are aware of who you are and you're on that journey of self-discovery, you can figure out how much of yourself you can safely give away to others without losing yourself and becoming resentful. And then your third C is culpability. So when you have self-awareness and you've been on that self-discovery journey, you can then figure out exactly what is your fault or not your fault, or what is in your control. And then you can figure out what you need to do, whether you need to try and help someone or just let go and move on. And I think that that's really, really important. You really need to understand that about yourself. So moving on, because I'm running out of time, what's next for me? So for me, I'm going to continue on my journey and my path to kind of figuring out who I am and learning more about myself. And I'm going to do that through continuing my personal development, through doing courses like the one I'm doing now on the World Speaker Program, continuing to read books, to just soak up all kinds of self-discovery things like a sponge. And I think that everybody else needs to do that too. For you guys, I guess what I would say, if there's anything that resonates with any of you that I've said or that you'll hear from any of the other speakers, then you need to ask yourself a couple of questions. Like, you know, I've got a tiny exercise for you all to do. Just go away this evening, take 5 minutes, and very quickly list 20 things that you enjoy doing for yourself, by yourself, to relax. And if that takes you longer than 5 minutes, and when I did it, it took me longer than 5 minutes, and that's one of the things that helped me to realize I was in trouble. It took me about half an hour, maybe a bit longer. If it takes you longer than 5 minutes, then I'd suggest maybe you need to spend some time looking at your life and looking at where you fit in and what you do for yourself. And that may mean that you need to ask for help. It may mean that you need to look at self-development books. It may mean you need to talk to friends and family. It may mean you need to get a coach. Whatever works for you, but you need to really figure out how to discover yourself. So that's pretty much it for me. I just wanted to cover one of the questions that was asked, and it was about holding on to, if people around you want to hold on to the older version of who you are. I say to that you can't, you have to, once you're on your journey of self-discovery and it's about you and you're learning more about yourself as I am, you have to remember that you have to be an unstoppable juggernaut. Right now, that's who I'm trying to be. I am not trying to be, that's who I am. I am looking after myself. Doesn't mean I'm not going to love anybody else or care for anybody else, but it's about me. This is my time. So when you're doing that, if people aren't along the ride, along with you for the ride, then you have to let them go. There's a saying that says, you know, people are with us for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. And if that means you have to let people go, then you have to let people go, because if they're not with you, they're not for you. So I'm going to leave you guys with a quote that I found that is really, I think, pertinent to what I've just said. And it goes like this: it takes courage to endure the sharp pains of self-discovery rather than choose to take the dull pain of unconsciousness that would last a lifetime. So my final comments to you guys are to be courageous and endure that pain on your journey and discover you. And finally, just be your own light. That's what I'm doing. So thank you very much for listening, guys.
Can you hear me? Oh, that was brilliant. Thank you, Moville. That was brilliant. I mean, to the point, straight to the point. And you know, you also incorporated a couple of the questions, which was brilliant. But what we'll do, because of time, we're gonna move on to the next speaker, and we're gonna hold anyone who has questions or want to sort of comment on Moville's talk just now. Hold on to the end of after the fourth speaker, because we'll have more time there to, you know, sort of add questions and stuff like that. Is that okay? Is that okay with you, Moville?
Yeah, sure. I'll be here.
I hope so. Share your value and off you go. What kind of people are you? All right. All right. So our penultimate speaker, Stephanie Gitzelman, originates from America, but now resides in Switzerland. She's a single mother of two, a son who is 18 and a daughter who is 16. She speaks many languages, namely Swiss German, French, and of course, English. Stephanie is a successful multi-level marketing business owner, which gives her the freedom to travel around the world. As well as a successful businesswoman, Stephanie is also a speaker and a coach. Overcoming mental and physical challenges from a young age, Stephanie has made it her mission to give hope and a voice to those who are not able to have due to their situation or because they're simply unable to speak. So, without further ado, I give you Stephanie.
Hi, everyone. Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, good. So actually I'm in Munich right now. So I'm in the hotel room and I'm standing on the bed because I thought I was going to be on camera because you can see me better. All right. Well, listen, everyone, really great to be here. And yeah, thank you for the others. Those are very inspirational messages given out. Yeah, so actually I have to correct something, Kane, because otherwise, you know, it's important to the kids. And my son's 16 and my daughter's 18, you know. Yeah, you know, it's important to them because they're listening, so, yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
No problem at all. Yeah, so actually, yeah, what I've gone through with my disability and illness, I've been in a lot of, from a very young age on with operations, been in a lot of clinics, very seldom diseased, therefore doctors just didn't know what to say, so they actually just said I was mentally ill. So this is something I was trapped in, and this is also something I'm really dedicated to help others to get out of a trap like that, because it's terrible. Because that's exactly what it's about. When you are being told that you're mentally ill, you start you start looking at things that way as well. You know, I knew deep down I wasn't, but it was very difficult in certain situations not to believe it. And I don't want others to have to go through that. The thing is that you really need a lot of time to get over situations like that. I only got a diagnosis that it's a genetic defect like 6 years ago or 7. And until then, I've been, I haven't fit into society, just always was different. And therefore, I more or less just shut myself down. I was existing. I really have 2 lovely children. Dedicated my time to them. They're my one and only and best thing I ever did. But the thing is that I then, like 1.5 years ago, I started realizing, oh my goodness, you know, what am I doing? I have to start getting out again. Because I was actually being in my comfort zone. And that's just a very easy thing to do, which a lot of people tend to do, of course. So what I did was I started multi-level marketing, and I really had to learn how to start talking to grown-ups again and getting out there and feeling more comfortable, because I didn't believe in myself anymore in the beginning. You know, I was really just existing. And so what I did was I would just see what was going on in different groups around the world, and maybe saw that, for instance, now in London, entrepreneur group was meeting up somewhere in this bar. I had no idea where that was. I got in a plane and I went over there and popped in their meeting. So this was actually quite interesting, and I really, that way, had to get out of my comfort zone. So I started discovering myself. I started believing in myself because I noticed I could do that. You know, I had the possibility to change something again. And that was a fantastic feeling. It really was nice. I'm not saying that everyone can just, you know, hop in a plane and go somewhere, or do it in the extreme like I did, because that's always the way I've been. Because I always had to fight a lot, or if I was paralyzed in the wheelchair, I always had to fight and work hard to get out of the wheelchair, to learn to walk again and use everything again. And that's where I already started looking at things differently, where I could use them later on, because if I would be in a wheelchair, what I would do is, like, I would be talking to my legs, right? I would be visualizing myself walking, and I would be talking to them constantly. Did it make me jump out of the wheelchair and start walking again? No, of course not. It wasn't a miracle that would happen, but it was the fact that I believed in it. And then I managed, and it was my vision that I would, and I did. And sadly enough, you know, you fight in life, and then you often let go again. Then you drop back into your comfort zone. Believe me, I know how it is. And the thing is, whatever you're going through in life, if it's bad things or whatever it is, no matter what, really, if you look different, if you can't speak, if you just, I don't know, have one leg, it doesn't matter what. You're going through a real crisis in life at the moment. You've lost your job, whatever it is. Believe me, in reality, you should embrace that situation, because that situation is telling you something, and that situation has a lot of positive things in it that you have to start trying to see, because there's a reason why. And once you can start doing that, slowly, but consistently, you will start seeing the positive side of whatever you think is one of the worst things ever happening to you at the moment. Was I scared? Of course. Of course I've been scared a lot. But I have always tried to turn that fear into power. And it is, of course, you have to stay consistent. This is something you have to work on. Of course. No one, no one managed or discovered a new country overnight. I just started discovering myself slowly. And that's why I always say, take baby steps. Really, take step by step. Enjoy the small steps you take. Write them down. If there's something you've achieved, anything, maybe you brush your teeth 3 times a day and you're really proud of yourself. Don't write that down. It doesn't matter what it is. The fact is, if you see that you are achieving things, no matter what, just baby steps, you are going to get so far. Because you'll have to start building up your foundation under your feet. Now look at a big tree that's been 300 years old. What was that tree in the beginning? It was all a seed. And what did the seed start with? It started with the roots. And why? Because the tree needed to have a foundation. Because it had to hold up everything later on. And that's exactly what you have to do with your life. Because it's your choice. It's really your choice. Get rid of negative people around you. We already heard that. It's very important. You get rid of the negative people. It's scary. It can be scary. At least you have someone to talk to. But get rid of them, because as soon as you start showing more positivity and that you like yourself, that you have started to get a foundation under your feet, you are going to attract different kinds of people that think likewise. And you'll have better friends. So just get rid of them. They won't help you in life. Life's too short for that. And don't compare yourself with others. Because you are unique. All of us. Every one of us are unique. Right? And I really want y'all to say that to yourselves every day. Or write it down on a paper. Hang it up on the wall. Look at it every day. Okay? Look, if I could do it, y'all can too. Okay? It's just... Oh my God, there's so much I want to say. Now I'm getting into this whole thing again. That's so typical. It's not an easy journey, guys. It really isn't. But you can do it, and it's your choice. It's your life. Okay? Alright, that's my timer telling me I'm up. Hey guys, I really enjoyed this, and I really hope that I could help a little bit, or inspire a little bit. So please let me know.
Stephanie?
Yeah?
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm jumping up and down on the bed.
Well, that's brilliant. All right. Well, we're going to leave the questions to the end. So or there'll be plenty of our attendees who've got questions for you. In fact, attendees, get your questions ready, because we've got one more speaker, and then it's all on you guys to ask those questions, yeah, for our speakers to come back with so much value. So, okay, so our last speaker, Tamsin Noether, is a peak performance and mindset coach. She became obsessed with the workings of the mind around the time her mother was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. Tamsin says she has discovered the keys to how people can turn their lives around in all areas because of the right mindset and actions with relationships, health, finances, business, career, etc. It's Tamsin's deepest passion to help as many people as she can to realize their potential and to live their true purpose on their terms, because they are free on the things that they have held them back. Tamsin, are you ready? Are you ready to share your values and tools and strategies.
Hey,
Awesome.
I'm here. Hi, everyone. So I just wanted to start off really and say that everyone thinks that the mind is a really complicated piece of equipment that we have, and that it must be really, really hard, and you must need to know a lot of things in order to be able to help people and turn your life around. But actually, it's not. It's quite simple. And there's 4 things really that I want to share with you about the mind before I begin with my story, a part of my story. And they are: 1, your mind does what it thinks you want it to do. So, in the way that you think, your mind is doing exactly what it thinks you want it to do. 2, your mind is hardwired to take you towards pleasure and away from pain. 3, the way you think comes down to 2 things. So you think with the pictures and the story that you have in your head, and 2, by the words that you say to yourself. The 4th thing is that your mind loves what is familiar. So when we're working on change with people, or you're working on change with yourself, and you're learning something new, or you're bringing new behaviors into your life and new habits into your life, you need to do them repeatedly. You need to make them familiar. And then it doesn't seem odd anymore. So you just keep, like Top Gun, you just keep sending yourself up, and keep doing it. Just doing it over and over and over again. You must have heard that repetition is the mother of skill. It is, and it applies to every area in your life. So whatever it is that you want to change, and you're introducing new strategies, new things into your life, you just need to keep repeating them. So I just wanted to share that piece before I go on to talking to you about self-worth and self-esteem, because it's a really, really important issue. And if you haven't had low self-esteem at some point in your life, then you're incredibly lucky. But most people at one point or another in their lives will experience low self-esteem or depression. And I've experienced this myself, and I just want to really talk to you about that and touch on that with you now, so that I can illustrate to you how you can turn it around and bring yourself out of it. So my mum was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, and I've always been into self-development, but I guess I started focusing more on self-development at that point because I wanted to find answers. I wanted to understand, because Alzheimer's is to do with the brain. It was my way of trying to find some control in the situation, which you have no control over. So I did this coaching, and it was good, and it was fine, and it gave me some strategies and some keys to help me. However, when my mum was she was deteriorating and she was getting worse, a couple of things happened. My stepdad decided that he was going to put my mum into a nursing home and not tell my sister or I that he was going to do that. And we knew that it was her wish, that she really didn't want to go in one. So it was a really hard time. It felt like a big betrayal for us, simply because he knew exactly what he was doing. An hour after my sister had left was when he kind of put her there, decided that he was going to take her away and put her in this nursing home. And you know, for us, it was a big blow, because he said that he was just going to pop her in for a couple of weeks respite, and it didn't. It turned into something a lot longer than that, and we kind of knew that it was. And so there's some deep mistrust started at that point, and we had no control over this situation, no control of where our mum was going to be, and she was miles away in Bournemouth, and we had our lives in London, and it was just a really challenging time. So that happened, and I felt really, really low about it, and I started getting bullied at work, and it was like, wow, okay, so I've got this going on. Although people knew that there was something going on with my mum, it was quite serious. They didn't know what it was. And, you know, it wasn't everyone, it was a couple of people. But when you're feeling pretty low and you've got people that kind of are taking great joy in kicking you while you're down, it can take you into a really bad place. And I don't really think that I knew how bad I was feeling. I kind of numbed to it and muddled through the days. And I guess it was my daughter and my family that kept me going. But I lost my voice, my ability to stand up for myself and to speak and to say that I wasn't happy, and that, you know, it just got to a point where I guess it was so bad that I broke down into tears at work at my boss, and I just said, look, I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna go to HR if it doesn't get sorted out. Like, I can't go on like this. It's awful. And, you know, he listened, and I was lucky. He listened, and he helped me do something about it and sort that situation out. So it was kind of that point, really, where I made a decision that I was worth something more than what I was getting. And that was the first part of the awakening. Making the decision that I deserved better. And it was that point that I started really fixing the things that weren't right in my life. And I went away on holiday. I was away from the office for a couple of weeks. And it was on that trip that I thought, you know what, my mum would not want me to be feeling like this. She would not want this for me. And I owe her a little bit more than to be behaving like this and allowing this to transform in my life. So I kind of made this decision. I went back from that holiday with purpose, that I was going to sort myself out, going to sort everything out. And the reason that I know that I was depressed, although I wasn't clinically depressed because I didn't go to the doctors about it, is that the only way that I can explain it is that I started seeing life in colour again. It was like I'd been living in black and white. And I know that might sound really, really strange, but anyone that has been in depression will understand that. And if you ever go through anything that is really challenging in your life, just remember that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And that if you start doing things that make you happy, and you set boundaries with other people, you grow your self-love again. So the first thing that I did was I accepted that there were certain things in my life that I wasn't happy about, and I accepted that they needed to be changed. And I decided that I was going to go out there and do that. And I got myself a coach. And even though I was a coach at that point, that was a time where I needed a coach. And I got a coach, 2 coaches, and they are absolutely amazing. And they really, really helped me, really, really put the tools into place and was a support system to guide me through. And I got my voice back, I got my figure back, I started exercising again, and I started loving myself. I started celebrating my strengths and accepting my weaknesses. And I started being kind to myself too, and not so harsh. So that inner voice that you say to yourself over and over again, you've got to say nice things to yourself. So that's where we come into tips and strategies, because when you love yourself, you can love other people. So you really need to start with yourself first. Be around people that make you feel good. And do things for others that make them feel good. Because when you give out, you get back. Write 10 things down that make you feel good about yourself, that you're proud of. And start and do it. Really do it. Really write those 10 things down and keep looking at them. Embrace yourself and everything that you are and that you do. And accept compliments. Well, we're in this society, aren't we, where we just, someone goes, oh, you look amazing. You go, oh, this old thing. And you just say thank you. Just say thank you. That person wanted to give you that compliment, and if you're batting that away, then you're doing a disservice to them, because they might not feel, you might make them feel that they can't give people compliments or they're not being taken seriously. So you owe it to that person that wants to make you feel good, to allow them to let you feel good. And then the last thing that I really want to touch on is your purpose. So how did I get to where I am from there? It's been a journey. It's been a journey of self-discovery and personal development. And I've done so many things. Whatever you are drawn to that makes you feel good, that you want to learn, that you have an interest in, just go for it. Just go for it. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. What other people think is none of your business. It is none of your business. You go do your thing. Go and do what makes you feel good. Go and learn about what makes you feel good, what you're interested in, and light up your life. Because you've only got one life. My mum always used to say this to me and my sister. She used to drum it into us from when we were children, that life is not a dress rehearsal. And she was right. She died at age 65, but my goodness, did she live. And she was an inspiration, and she was an awesome lady. And that is what you need to do. That is what you need to do to live in your purpose. You go and do all the things that you're interested in, all the things that you've always wanted to do. You don't want to look back and think, what if? Don't compare yourself to other people. Comparison is the thief of joy. You know, Facebook, other people's lives, what they do and what goes on behind closed doors are two different things. You don't need to worry about what other people are doing. Celebrate their successes with them. Just concentrate and focus on where you want to be and what you want to do. Walk a little taller and be kind to yourself and kinder to each other. And I think I'm finished there. Hello?
That's awesome, Tamsin. You know, I was really listening. I was really engrossed in what you were saying. Thank you. Thank you.
So is that a bit of an abrupt end?
No, not at all, not at all. And you know, thank you for, you know, taking us through your journey, through, you know, basically just being vulnerable, which I think is something that we all find difficult to be sometimes. But it's actually, there's so much power in being vulnerable. You know.
And I just think that, you know, you can get to anywhere that you want to go to in life, and just because you have a bad patch, that doesn't define you. That doesn't mean that's forever.
Mm-mm.
You know, most successful people have lots of challenges.
Absolutely, there's always a growing in every scenario experience. Every experience is a lesson, not a disaster or anything like that. Okay, and all right, on that point, we should introduce any of the attendees in terms of questions they may ask. So can we see some hands up? Might want to ask some questions or enter some questions into the comments so we can see them. Have you got any questions for any of the speakers? We've had 4 incredible speakers. You must have a question or two. Don't be shy.
So Kane, to
Yes.
really get the question out, we got to inspire him, Kende. Should we sing to him?
Okay, come on then. What should we sing?
I believe I can fly.
Oh, where's Ali when you need him? I believe I can touch the sky.
I think about it every night and day.
Spread my wings and fly away.
So, guys, you know, we've had 4 powerful
If you want us to
women.
stop singing, you better ask questions.
So, guys, put your hands up, okay? Share your feedback. Sharing is caring. And I know some of you, the first time you've been on a GoToWebinar, you've been onto an online event. So put your hands up, guys, if you've got any questions that you want to ask any of our speakers. And don't be shy, guys. Don't be shy. So put your hands up if you've got any questions.
While we're waiting for the questions, why don't we talk about the program?
Okay, perfect. Kende, do you want to go ahead?
Okay, so, well, I mean, I guess the first bit is a question. Are there anybody on this online event that isn't part of the World Speaker Program and is interested? I can't even see.
Including the biggest platform. This platform, we're going to have 5,000 inspirational, authentic speakers from all over this globe, and we are growing our network. So in this program, you get access to world-class speakers. You get to collaborate with cool people like Simona, Maval, Tamzin, Stephanie. We've had collaborations already. Canada, Kende as well. Guys, how many people that are watching this right now who would be interested or know someone who'd be interested in joining our speaker family and having the opportunity to be able to collaborate with like-minded speakers? Put your hands up, guys. Maybe they don't know where the hand button is.
Maybe.
Stephanie has her hand up, but she's a speaker.
She might want to still make a
Okay,
comment.
so we got Tasha's put her hands up.
Go on, Tash.
Tasha's put her hands up. Who else is putting their hands up?
I still can't see. Should we unmute Tasha?
Okay, so wait, let's go to the questions. I think people have put questions in below.
I'm looking at the question box.
Okay, so let's go back to this.
Um,
Let's go to the question.
Obviously, no questions.
Claire asked, what was the question again?
Claire asked the question again. Oh, the question is, are you currently on the program? And if not, is it something that you're interested in?
Like I said at the end, are you interested in?
Sorry. Are you interested in?
So guys, a lot of us that are tonight, I think we got a lot of shy bees in the house that don't want to speak or ask questions. But guys, our hashtag is the World Speaker Program. So any speakers that you got value from tonight, like I got so much value just listening to every single speaker. I was just there in awe, taking it all in. And I want you guys to hashtag your experience. So you'd say, hey, Simona was absolutely incredible. Maval was out of this world. Tamzin's talk really touched me. Stephanie, wow, her analogy about the tree really made sense to me. Anything that you liked about this event, hashtag, tag us in your posts. Put it on Facebook, hashtag World Speaker Program. And if you would like the opportunity to speak on one of our online events, do get in contact, get on our program, and join our massive family. And before actually we go, I just want to kind of get the speakers back on. So we're gonna get all the speakers back on. So we've got Tamzin in the house, we have Maval in the house, we have Stephanie back in the house. So guys, what's your experience been like so far on the program?
Shall I go?
Yeah.
Go first, Stephanie.
Okay, so My speaker with the program itself, you mean?
Yeah.
That has been amazing. To me, life-changing. Feel like I got a family to connect with. Just, yeah, it makes me feel a bit emotional. It really changed a lot in my life. I'm just really thankful. I'm really, really grateful that I could participate. And there's so much support. If anyone needs support, it's beautiful to be able to give support as well, which you can. And yes, it's just been an amazing journey, and there's so much more to come, of course. So this is really, I've never experienced so much, being so supported, put it that way. Sorry, I'm a bit of a loss of words.
Amazing, Stephanie. Tamsin?
Oh, do you know what? It is best. I've met so many amazing people, and they're so positive and upbeat, and it is just great because every day you're juiced up and ready to go. It's just like nothing else. Honestly, I love it. I love it. And also, I was able to let go of others judging me. That is such a big thing for me. It stopped me from talking on lives and all the rest of it, although I'm a coach and I can do it in small groups, and I can talk one-on-one, and I'm a very good coach actually, but the thing that I struggled with was fearless speaking in front of lots of people, and it was a real block for me, and I'm so grateful because that is now gone.
I would never have guessed that, Tamsin. And also, I love that line that you said. Anything that anyone says about you is none of your business. Whether they say you're amazing looking or whatever, or you're not a very good speaker, whatever, it's none of your business. That's powerful.
It is none of your business, because if you take on board other people's opinions and allow that rhetoric to go around in your head, then
it becomes your limited
you start
belief.
doubting yourself. Yeah, that's right. So therefore,
guys,
you stay in your lane.
Guys, we've had questions, but for some reason they're not showing up. So yeah, we've had loads of questions as well. Just move on to Mavelle. Mavelle, what's your experience so far on the program, Mavelle?
I'm trying to find a word to describe it, but I can't find one word. It's just been really amazing and phenomenal. The best thing about it for me is that I'm really being stretched, and I'm having to challenge myself, which I'm loving. You guys are all really, really encouraging. So you just get the feeling that nothing you do is wrong, and you feel like you're in a safe environment. And everybody, people from all the trainers to the people on the program, have been just really, really supportive. And so I feel like I've kind of lucked myself into a really good family, and it's fantastic. And I feel like I'm developing. It's only been a week, but I can see and feel my own development, and I'm just loving this. I'm loving it.
Beautiful, amazing. And Simona, last but not least.
Thanks, Warren. Well, to be honest, I can agree with all the ladies, all my queens. It's been a lot of value to join this group, and thank you, Warren, for kicking my butt and encouraging me to join. And I came up with so many excuses from the very beginning, saying I have no time, I have no this, I can't do this because of this. And thank you so much. And I really am grateful for being next to such incredible and inspiring people. And I think there's nothing better. The price is absolutely ridiculous for the value that you get and for the amount of work that you do on yourself. And, I can finish just with that if you're the fastest, you need to find other people. If you're running with people in the, sprint, and you're the fastest one, you need to challenge yourself and find other people, because it's best to be the last in the group of fastest, because at the end your time will still be better if you're running with the best rather than with those a group of those, that you are the winner all the time. I'm not great at rephrasing this, but I'm sure you got the meaning, that you know you always have to stretch yourself, and then you know keep trying to better yourself every time. So I would really encourage everyone who's considering, because you cannot imagine the value that it brings for your personal growth.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So, guys, to finish it off with the last minute before we come to a close, everyone go, oh,
Oh,
guys.
Oh.
You know, we need to leave it on a bang. We need to entertain the people that are listening.
we should sing.
So, Kane there. Kane is going to lead it off with a bit of James Brown.
Woohoo!
What? Me, that's all I know.
Little and die empty.
I feel good. Let's start off with I feel good.
Feel good. Du-du-du-du-du-du-du. I knew I would. Du-du-du-du-du-du. I feel good.
Oh yeah.
Sugar and spice. Du-du-du-du-du.
Sugar and spice.
So good. I need you.
Boom, 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 boom.
Guys, make sure you write your comments on social media, hashtag World Speaker Program, hashtag your favorite speakers, what you got, the value you got from the speakers, tag them, add them on Facebook. I will put a post on my Facebook as well, so get tagging, get posting, and come and join our beautiful family of speakers. And you know what they say, if you can speak,
You
you
can
can
influence, and if you can
And if you can influence, you can change lives. Guys, thank you so much for watching.
listening.
Thank you so much for Kane Day, for being an amazing, amazing presenter. You were like, let me try and think of
You were like gold.
Thank you, Tamsin.
Fantastic time.
You're welcome, baby.
Very entertaining.
Muscle engine revving up from Warren's mouth there.
So guys,
Thanks,
you all, and stay tuned, stay connected, and don't just listen. And you know, a lot of us listen to other speakers, and we just listen. When you hear those signs, when you get value, apply, take action. What really felt right, what landed, take action on those things that landed for you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, guys, for watching. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.